Okay, it's 8 PM on the 8th of June 2019. I'm over here at my neighbour's property. I inspected this hive Thursday and I noticed that there wasn't much in the way of stores like nectar or honey, so I've come over with a bottle of sugar syrup and a super, and I'm going to put that on now. Okay, so it's fairly late in the day. As I mentioned earlier, it's about 8 o'clock, so I shouldn't be bothered by foraging bees coming back. This is the bottle of syrup that I'm going to put on. This jar's got a series of holes in the lid. Let's see if that'll focus. And when I invert this jar, it will create a vacuum and stop the syrup all coming out at once. And I've got a sort of a mesh cover to go over one of the holes in the cover board, just to stop the bees coming up through, so they'll still be able to access the sugar syrup. So I've got my bee suit on, but I haven't got my hood up because I don't think I should. I'm not opening the hive up, so I shouldn't be, hopefully, I shouldn't be pestered by any bees. So at the moment this hive has got 2 bee escapes on it. The bee escape is like a one-way valve. It will allow the bees to go one way but not the other. So you can use these for clearing honey supers. It allows the bees to go through these holes here and out and access the rest of the hive without allowing them to then come back. I'll show you a close-up of one. Okay, so this is the bee escape. Inside there's 2 plastic springs which allow the bees to go in through this hole in the top. They can walk through the springs, but they're less inclined to walk this way through the springs. So yeah, that's a bee escape. So all I'm going to do, I'm going to take one of these bee escapes off, and I'm going to place this mesh cover over the bee escape. This will stop bees coming up through the hole in the cover board when I change that bottle of syrup. So I'm just going to gently lift this bee escape out and quickly place my little cover over the top. I'm going to make sure the lid's on nice and tight. So I'm going to invert this jar and place it over the hole. I'm just going to put this super on, which is just acting as a spacer, because otherwise I won't be able to put the roof on over the top of that. Do that up nice and tight. Okay, so that's all done. They should start taking the sugar syrup down and filling up the cells in their brood nest, and hopefully start building up their stores. I don't know why there's not many stores. It could be that there's just not enough forage for them at the moment. The other thing I thought might be an issue, they might be getting robbed out. There's a much larger colony actually in my neighbour's chimney. I'll put a video of that up and you'll see. And I'm wondering whether they're just robbing this hive, all the stores they're collecting, they're just getting robbed. So hopefully they'll be able to build up some stores now. Okay, so I was just packing up and I was watching the entrance of the hive, and I noticed it was lots of activity. They were really quite busy. So I've got a feeling they might be getting robbed. So all I'm going to do, I'm going to flip the entrance block over and give them a smaller entrance. Hopefully they'll be able to defend the hive a little bit more easily. I don't know exactly what robbing behaviour looks like, but it is 8 o'clock. There's lots of activity by the entrance. So I'm going to switch the entrance block over. Hopefully they'll be able to defend the hive a little bit more easily. As I said, I know there is a huge wild colony in the chimney of my neighbour's property. So yeah. Come on, bee. Okay, so as you saw there, all I did was switch the size of the entrance over. There's still lots of activity. What I made sure to do was to keep the side of the entrance the same, so the bees don't get lost. They're coming back. I noticed on my nuke box at home that I just transferred into. I've made a video about it. I'll put the link in the description. The bees were getting confused as to where their new entrance was because I'd rotated it. So I didn't want the same tap in here, so I put the entrance on the same side. I don't know if that will make too much of a difference. I'm sure they'd find it anyway, but yeah, that's all done. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.